Hello everyone, I'm going to try my first gaming video ever. It's not really my thing, I'm not a presenter, but this game's a lot of fun. And what I've got here is a thought I've had here and there for a while. Now I can try it. What would happen at the Battle of Tsushima in 1905 if we were to replace the Russians with the Great White Fleet? The fleet compositions actually are fairly balanced. The Great White Fleet was all battleships with some destroyers. The Japanese Navy had approximately 10 battleships, 8 cruisers, and several destroyers of their own. The time frame is right. I've gone with 1902. I've constructed a Maine class battleship here to the best of my ability. This is as close as I've been able to approximate it. All the numbers are right well within there. All the parameters are correct. Armor, guns, of course. It has the center torpedoes, one on each side. It's a little bit over on tonnage, just slightly, but I'm less concerned about the actual weight figure than others seem to be who make the videos as well in this game. I don't really care about that so much, as long as it's not ridiculously out of proportion. That lets me have what there should be for the ship. I think I've got it like I want it. That's as close to a Maine as I can get. It won't let me have a rear cage mast, but these actually didn't have cage mast originally. In the rear. I suppose I could remove that cage mast and put an original tower there, but I don't really care. We're very close, so let's see what happens. I think I've set it at 11 or 12 kilometer engagement range. So there we go, the Great White Fleet on its tour in 1908. Somehow makes it over to Tsushima in 1905, taking place of the Russians. See how it plays out. It's going to be ugly, whatever happens. Okay, first off, that's not 11 kilometers. Clearly not. That's okay, we'll go with it. These guys are going to die quickly. We'll set them to aggressive. Quickly correct all of our speeds here to cruise speed so that we have gun accuracy. And there is the Great White Fleet, which is how it would have sailed in beautiful columns. Not quite sure what we'd say would happen here. I guess they just met the Japanese and decided they didn't like each other. Clearly. Battleship out in front. Yes, it is. Suga. Of course, I did get a message from the game before starting this that performance might be affected because there's too many ships. Seems to be okay. Initially, at least, I tend to let the AI choose its own targets. It's pretty good about that. They select the most threatening units first. Sunk what we think is a cruiser. Was. Alright, let's take this division. Set them up along this side of the enemy. Division will sort of keep them back a little bit. You can tell the game is struggling a little bit with all the action. And this is kind of what you would expect, a whole lot of fire without very many actual hits. That is correct to the period. Good thing I turned that division. Let's put these guys on high-speed torpedo run. Their range won't be much, it's only 1.6. I don't expect the destroyers to last very long, not like this. Clearly not. Yeah, he's gone. Theirs will be too, though. Although I think right about now the Japanese would be wishing for the Russians. This is about the time they would turn and try to run away, but given this range, they can't. Not very well, anyway. "16 Maine class battleships, more or less. Interestingly enough, we started by crossing their T. Severely. It's not what I planned. I put, I believe, a 12-kilometer engagement range in there, which I guess is technically what we've got. Sort of. There's 10-2. If I were to do this again, I'd make it 18 or 20, I guess. But all told, this is still the kind of melee you would expect, and the kind of melee that Tsushima was. One destroyer left. This thing is, these guys all have such short range. It's got 3.1. That's actually fairly long. Still outside my range here, though. These guys in closer. What's happened to this one? Took a torpedo hit. There's going to be a lot of paint work to be done after this battle. Our range is 3.1 on the torpedo tubes. Only one per side, of course. course, I don't expect much out of those. Battleship has a 9-inch 7.6. 9.76. They're all the same. Yes, they are. Of course, I have no control over that. They're generated by the game. Lost an Alba. Happened to him. 12-inch guns happened to him, and 8-inch. Missouri out here in the thick of it. Any torpedo firing yet? No. It's within range, but he probably can't target that one. Let's do some damage. Target him for torpedoes, target him for main battery fire, increase to maximum speed. That one has taken a little bit of damage and decided to turn out of line. It's one of the more irritating things about this game currently, the way that whole deal works. Oftentimes they'll do that, they'll take just a little bit of damage, and they'll turn right in front of torpedoes that have long since been spotted and take all of them. Just because that's the way that they're programmed. So, you have to watch that. Thankfully, I'm not a presenter because I have to do something that you're never supposed to do, which is leave and go to the bathroom. Right. Secondary fire eviscerating this guy, he's gone. Torpedoes incoming. Not good. Not good. I don't think I can do anything about it. That's pointless. Take the one. Could finish the ship, I don't think so though. No, we're gonna take two. Well, that will kill it. Probably. And the AI is doing this stupid formation garbage. Because I made too tight of a turn. This is what it does. It's formation keeping combined with the collision avoidance. The collision avoidance is too... It's overly exaggerated and causes these problems. It would be much better if they would just run into each other currently, as opposed to what they do. I've had him turn 180 degrees out of formation and run directly into the front of the ship behind him for no reason other than just screwed up wonky collision avoidance. Like these guys, they've been sitting back here for how long? This ship isn't even moving. Zero. It's just stopped. You can see the way they're supposed to go. This one's supposed to be following that one. This one should be behind that one. So it looks like what we've got is the Connecticut has been collision avoidance, stuck on the Kearsarge basically. It is just now barely starting to move. I know that's not what we're here for. The game is still under development, so I'm commenting on that. What's this guy doing now? Get a few more ships sunk, the game ought to clear up a little bit and stop being so sketchy here. Yeah, these guys are just dead stop. Just dead stop. I could pull them out of formation and correct that, but I shouldn't have to. Here we go, we have the Idaho gradually trying to move and reform, which means the Ohio will wait for that, and the Wisconsin will in turn wait for the Ohio. Meanwhile, they're just sitting ducks. Torpedo. Yes. "12-inch hit on the Haku." Torpedo is going to hit. Hard times in the land of plenty. So is that. Oh, that's not good. taking torpedoes from this guy next. So this guy... Alright. You've got to move out of there. Ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. You two, come on. 0. Stupid. Couldn't have done that a moment too soon. Was it too late? Too late, thankfully. This one took one of those 2 torpedoes. What are these guys doing? Are they still stuck down here? So yeah, this is kind of how it goes, unfortunately, when I play anything even remotely complex. I end up taking more damage to screwball, collision avoidance errors, formation keeping, station keeping errors than I do actually what I'm doing to try and play the game well. BB torpedo hits DD. That's turning the tables. Ooh, and a 12-inch hit to the anal. Insult to injury. Goodbye. Taint left. There we go. There's that full. Getting into a situation here where my battleships are mostly due to their formation errors, are becoming surrounded a little bit. This guy has torpedoes. He needs to be sunk immediately. Well, that one would be good. Sanosawa. Sanosawa. This is ridiculous down here. Let's see if I can detach the Kearsarge. Which direction is he facing? Hey, look at that, he's moving. All 4.3 available knots. That should clear that up. So it looks like at Tsushima the Russians may have benefited had they loaned themselves out a proper fleet. That's harsh, but you know, it's a game. Not attacking fishing trawlers and storing various pickle jars inside your gun breeches might be a good start as well. We've hollowed these guys out like a zit. Despite the AI stupidity. Funny thing is that their ships actually do pretty well. They don't really have... I see them have some problems with station keeping and stuff, but they're generally pretty good at avoiding torpedoes, angling away from fire. I mean, they put a lot of work into it. I still like to give the AI some reasonable advantage, but that can backfire on you too. I tried 5 8-inch gun US cruisers against 5 British cruisers, 1925 tech. And I made some pretty solid cruisers. I didn't go crazy, you know, on the US side when I made the 5 cruisers. Made them reasonable. Very powerful, but still, you know, nowhere near as much as I could have built them up to. And then I went in the game, and I even gave the British side an extra light cruiser, figuring more torpedoes. I go into the match, the light cruiser has no torpedoes, but the 5 heavy cruisers I'm facing are 9-inch gun, and they are armored like battle cruisers. They have 13 inches of armor, and modern deck-mounted torpedo launchers. So it can backfire on you, trying to give them a bit of an advantage when they give themselves a huge advantage on top of that. Detach this guy and send him this way. Make sure he's fully targeted there. Looks like we've got this flank pretty well picked apart. Oh yeah, nasty. What's he doing? Remember the Maine, baby. To your face. Full torpedo dodge here, World of Warship style. It's funny, all the experience I have in that game, I've played that since the beginning. There are some things that translate to this one. One of them is that sort of innate sense you get when they launch their torpedoes. It doesn't really show up as much here because it's close range. But I can pretty much tell. Of course, you can also look at the ship and see when they fired it, which I think that's okay. But I've used that, and armor angling also works quite well. Reducing your profile works well. All those sorts of things that those of us who played that game for a while or anywhere near good at it are familiar with. Taking a beating. Torpedo. Not really sure why I had that going on. What's that expression about watching old people copulate? It's kind of getting to that point a little bit. We're going to win. The only thing they could try to do is run away, which is what they should have done from the beginning. Flooding, thank you. Oh hell, let's go for starboard tube on this guy. Can I make it there? Maybe by this evening. But that wasn't good. What the? My own battleship just hit me. It did more damage than this thing has taken in the last, hell, probably a whole match in one hit. This guy, Rick. Sink already. Again, it doesn't really affect their hull that much. It takes a tremendous pounding to actually sink them. Flooding is what gets them. Unless you really just come up alongside them and manage to just absolutely eviscerate them point blank. The rest of the fleet sort of meandering this way, or what's going on over here? Are we doing it? I told you to, I think. Yeah, they're using their walkers and coming over in this general direction, I guess. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Forgot about this guy over here. His maximum speed is 4.3 knots. Still. That's not going to change. What did he take? Was it one? One torpedo hit. I didn't give them even a level 1 auxiliary petrol engine. Which of course they would not have had historically, but I kind of look at that as simply from a value standpoint. Really, it just gives them a little bit of extra maneuverability, a little bit more water pumping, stuff like that. But I thought 1902, that it would have been too much to give it even a level 1. These ships were quite vulnerable to damage. Relatively speaking, even though they never really saw any serious action. The only thing there was anywhere near this generation of ships for the US anyway was Manila Bay in Santiago, 1898. Those were, of course, earlier ships. Ooh. Oh, that's the end of you, buddy. I'm sorry to see that. It's just funny, you got all these big guns shooting all over the place, and what really there's another one. What really decides the battle are the friggin' torpedoes, the battleship launched torpedoes, which historically speaking, to the best of my recollection, did almost nothing. Very little. But you put them in this game, and here we are. That's almost all the serious damage I've taken, and that they have taken. Well, I think more so for me. They have taken gun damage. But yeah, torpedoes. Perhaps Jellicoe was correct. All the same, what do we have left? 3, 6, 8, 10. We have 13 of the original 16 battleships. They have 4. So, in the interest of keeping this under an hour, I'm going to call this a victory and end it.